Getting commuters safely through rush hour is all in a day's work for Lotus FM. But the station's recent SupaCharg'd event in Durban had more emphasis on talk than talk show.
Japan has a way of turning odd things into art forms. I mean, just think about the tea ceremony for a second. It's also the home of drifting, which is about as far from tea as I can imagine. Well, this petrol-powered insanity has become popular all over the world, and today I'm about to experience it firsthand at the LotusFM SupaCharg'd event.
Drifting is all about driving on the knife edge between breaking traction and losing control, so there's no room for error.
One of the organizers at today's event is Jim McFarlane. Jim, tell us a little about the origins of drifting.
Drifting actually started nearly 20 years ago in Japan when 18-year-old kids wanted to do something different down the mountain pass, and that was going sideways. It's turned into a worldwide phenomenon. It's the fastest growing motorsport in the world. It's also the fastest growing motorsport in South Africa. So we go around the country doing this, and what better than going sideways and making smoke?
Safety must be a major concern.
Safety is always a major concern in motorsport, but we go the extra mile to ensure safety. Concrete barriers, marshals under Motorsport South Africa, the public liability, we go full out is to make it as safe and enjoyable, not only for drivers, but spectators as well.
Even switched off, these engines oozed power. But what exactly is the synergy between the event and the station?
Alvin, how did the connection between Lotus FM and drifting come about?
You know, it was an event that was brought to us to be the major sponsor with this event. And we looked at the association with our listeners and cars and fast cars and rowdy noises, drifting. And it stemmed from the dragging aspect, but drifting is totally superb for our audience. This is what they love. But yes, you know, it's a costly thing as well. So the joy and the thrill of actually being in a car like that is fantastic.
The object is not to burn tires, but to beat the competition.
One of the high-speed racers drifting at today's event is Joey Govender. Joey, what attracted you to racing?
Well, I came up here to the first event, I took part in it, and from there I just continued and it grew.
And tell me, what modifications are made to the cars?
Most of these cars are not running stock power plants. A lot to do with suspension, a lot to do with engines as well.
And how many tires are used at an event like this?
Previously I'd probably use about 10 tires, that means 5 sets per weekend. But now since my new power plant, I'll probably use maybe 12, 14, I don't know, I'm only going to find out this weekend.
Rolly, tell us about the techniques of drifting.
Basically, the technique is you always on the handbrake and most of the time on the gas. So you depend mostly on the gas and the handbrake. And there's some special techniques that you can use, which is heel toe techniques and left foot on the brakes just for control. But basically, those are the techniques.
And what makes a good drift car?
Basically, you need to have the technique behind it, good acceleration, good power, brakes, handbrakes. Yeah, so it makes a good car. This is actually not my car. This is my little brother's car, Riaz's car, which has passed on a few months ago. I'm driving this car in his honor.
Affairs, I'm sorry to hear about your loss, but I wish you all the best with that, man. Good luck.
It doesn't matter whether the horsepower comes from the States or Japan. It takes special skill to burn a smoking curve.
Michelle, tell us a little about this event.
This event is in its second year of being a championship year. There's about 30 drivers in the series and they come from all over South Africa, KZN, Gauteng. Yeah, it's just a wonderful way to grow the sport, which is the fastest growing motorsport in the world.
My father races here and I think it's a really fun and cool event.
And what's your favorite part of it?
My favorite part is when a lot of cars go for the finals, when they battle for first and second place.
I think it's a very good event. It draws a lot of crowds and it's very interesting. It's a great deal of fun and people enjoy it, so yeah.
I just love watching them turn into the slides and holding it in the corners, seeing how close they get to the clipping points. It's a lot of fun.
It's one thing to watch, but quite another to actually experience a drift from inside a car. Spectators could get to ride with an expert, and guess who was at the front of the queue?
I can understand if some people find it crazy to burn so much rubber, just so you don't go in a straight line. Well, to me and other petrolheads all over the world, this is sublime car craziness. It's also an automotive art form.